हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्रील गुरु महाराज की.
Said I should come early for class. It's getting colder out.
They said I have to come early for the class. It is getting cold now. Colder outside.
This is 5 hours in a day.
So Guru, okay. Hare Kr-
I'm going to sit first. Krishna
Krishna prasthaya bhutale
Srimati Bhaktivedanta
Swami niti namine
Namaste Saraswati Devi
Gauravani pracharine
Nirvishesha Sanyavadi
Paschatya desatharine
Sri Krishna Chaitanya
Prabho Nityananda
Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare Rama
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Hare Hare Namo
Yadavaya Namaha
Hare Govinda Ram
Srimad Sudhanam
Hare Govinda
Pangun Langai Tegirim
Hare Radha
Sri Gurum Dhinatharinam
Paramananda
Sri Chaitanya Mishwaram
Hare Om Tat Sat
Hari Om Tat Sat
Hare Om Tat Sat
Hari Om Tat Sat
Hare Om Tat Sat
Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Today we will continue with the reading from Sri Chaitanya Shikshamrita of Srila Sachidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Today we are reading from the 5th Shava, the Shava entitled Consideration of Bhāva-bhakti, second stream, Symptoms of Bhāva-bhakti, Bhakta. 9 characteristics of a Bhāva-bhakta. Among the special characteristics that appear in a Bhāva-bhakta, the following 9 types of characteristics are most prominent: Kshantihi, forgiveness; Avyartakalatvam, concern that time should not be wasted; Virakti, detachment; Manashunyata, absence of false prestige; Ashabhanda, hope; Samutkantha, eagerness; Namagani Sadaruchihi, a taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord; Ashakti Tat Gunakhyane, attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord; Preeti Tat Vashati Stale, affection for those places where the Lord resides, such as temple, holy places like Mayapur and Vrindavan.
So, how many devotees like holy down on Navadip.
So, how many devotees like the holy Dham of Navadvip? Oh,
Very nice.
very nice.
So that's the ninth quality
So that's the ninth quality
of Bhāva-bhakti.
of Bhava Bhakti, of a Bhava Bhakta. Note, as mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu.
No, I didn't finish that.
Oh,
So they will do each one.
yes.
I don't know. Us.
As mentioned in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.3.25 to 26, when the seed of ecstatic emotion for Krishna fructifies, the following 9 symptoms manifest in one's behavior: forgiveness, consent that time should not be wasted, detachment, absence of false prestige, hope, eagerness, and taste for chanting the holy name of the Lord, attachment to descriptions of the transcendental qualities of the Lord, and affection for those places where the Lord resides, that is, the temple or holy place like Mayapur or Vrindavan. These are all called Anubhava, subordinate signs of ecstatic emotion. They are visible in a person in whose heart the seed of love of God has begun to fructify.
Finishes. So people may wonder if the seed of love of Godhead is beginning to sprout in their heart.
So people may wonder whether the seed of love of Godhead is beginning to sprout in their heart or not.
This we can see by these anubhavas.
So this we can see by these anubhavas.
Bhāva-bhakti may be imitated,
The Bhava Bhakti may be imitated,
but it's hard to imitate all these nine qualities.
but it's hard to imitate all these 9 qualities.
It's like a devotee is always humble.
Just like a devotee is always humble.
I was present in one meeting, one devotee said, I'm the most humble.
So I was present at one
I'm
meeting.
the most humble.
I was present at one meeting and one devotee said, I'm the most humble. I'm the most humble.
And that doesn't seem like real humility.
That doesn't seem like real humility.
So, as someone likes to live in a holy place or temple, or the humility of
If
devotees,
someone likes to live in a holy place or temple or in a community of devotees,
someone likes to live in a place or city where there's no devotees,
if someone likes to stay in a place in a city where there is no devotees,
all these things are very obvious.
all these things are very obvious. So now Bhaktivinoda Thakur is explaining each of the qualities um, of a Bhava Bhakta. kshantihi, forgiveness. Even there is a cause of disturbance in the mind, the heart of a Bhava Bhakta remains undisturbed. As mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.3.27, when a person is undisturbed, even in the presence of various causes of disturbance, he is called reserved and perseverant. perseverant. Whether facing hostility, the suffering or death of a relative, loss of property, domestic quarrels, or illness, a Bhava Bhakta only performs immediate temporary actions, but their heart is engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord, cannot be disturbed. Anger, lust, anger, anger,
She
lust.
heard Mayapur that boy had drowned in a pool.
So we heard in my.
Pond.
So there's a boy who was drowned in a pukur, a pond.
So when that happens, it's said to the mother would be somewhat sorrowful.
When this happened, we expected the mother to be somewhat sorrowful.
But really,
Can you hear me? Can you hear
but
me?
we saw that she was very calm
But we saw she was very
and
calm,
peaceful.
peaceful.
So we thought, oh, that maybe it was a false rumor.
So we thought maybe that's a false rumor.
But she confirmed her son had died.
But she confirmed that her son has died.
But she said, I can't do anything now.
But she said, I can't do anything now.
Okay? It is
I'm praying to the
for
de-
his deliverance.
I'm praying to the deities for his deliverance.
As after Krishna.
And now it's up to Krishna.
So she had this symptom of being very forgiving and steady
She
in her
ha-
consciousness.
so she had the symptom of forgiving, very steady in the right consciousness. Anger, lust, greed, fear, desire, sorrow, and delusion are specific types of mental disturbances. Second one is avyartha kalatvam, constant that time should not be wasted. With the anxiety that no time is wasted, the devotee conducts all activity through bhava and engages in the service of the Lord. Whatever task is at hand, by remembering the pastimes of the Lord, While performing that task, they stimulate the bhava for Sri Krishna. All actions are carried out in the form of servitude to the Lord. As mentioned in Hari Bhakti Sudodaya 12.37, and this is also quoted in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, an unalloyed devotee who has developed ecstatic love for Krishna is always engaging his words in reciting prayers to the Lord. Excuse me. Within the mind, he is always thinking of Krishna, and with his body, he either offers obeisances by bowing down before the deity or engages in some other service. During these ecstatic activities, he sometimes shed tears. In this way, his whole life is engaged in the service of the Lord with no moment wasted on any other engagement.
So the devotee has always interested in using his time to serve Krishna.
So, if a devotee is always interested in using his time to serve Krishna,
So this is a symptom of Bhāva-bhakti.
so this is a symptom of Bhava-bhakti. Virakti, detachment, natural aversion to sensory objects can be called detachment. As, as mentioned in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.3.30, also a quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, King Bharata was very eager to attain the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, who's called Uttama Shloka because of poems and prayers are offered to him for his favor. In his youth, King Bharata gave up his attractive wife and children, as well as his beloved friends and opulent kingdom, just as one gives up stool after passing it. When bhava arises, detachment becomes strong. A person with manifest bhava develops natural aversion to sensory objects. However, if these sensory objects are related to the Lord, they experience great affection for them. There is a group known as Vairagi Virakta Babaji. Vairagi Virakto Babaji, who consider themselves detached after adopting the Beka, the dress of renunciation. However, merely by introducing oneself as detached does not make one truly detached. If a person does not naturally develop aversion to sensory objects as bhava arises, then they are taking on the beka, dress of renunciation, or avaida, unlawful, is avaida, unlawful. The meaning of a beka is that as bhava arises, detachment also arises. Then material life, spelling, is not convenient. Those for whom household life is not conducive to devotion reduce their necessities and adopt short clothes, kanta, patched quilt, and karanga, a pitcher carried by saintly persons, and sustain themselves by begging and accepting Sri Mahaprasad. This behavior gradually becomes natural.
What you doing? So it's natural for people in the material world to be attached to to sense objects.
So it's natural for the people in the material world to be attached to sense objects.
When you're attached to Krishna,
But when you are attached to Krishna,
then you naturally become detached from the material sense objects.
you naturally become detached from the material sense objects.
So, King Bharata, he had become very attached to Krishna.
So King Bharata had become very attached to Krishna.
King Bharata
Uh,
had become attached to Krishna.
King Bharata had become attached to Krishna.
Sometimes he's loud, sometimes you can hear it all.
Can you hear me?
I don't know. So anyway,
No, they can hear me.
said
Uh,
he left his kingdom, his material attachment very easily.
So King Bharata gave up his kingdom, gave up his material attachment very easily.
So his bhava had become strong, his detachment also became strong.
So his bhava became very strong and his detachment also became very strong.
This was in a previous age,
This was in a previous age.
but how Bharat became uh, inadvertently attached to a deer.
How Bharat became inadvertently attached to a deer
And it took birth as a deer
and then he took birth as a deer
because instead of being Krishna conscious,
because instead
he left the body deer conscious.
because of being instead of being Krishna conscious when he left the body he was deer conscious.
But as a deer, because his spiritual life had progressed so much, he remembered his previous life.
Because but as a deer because he is in spiritual life he has progressed so much he could remember his previous life.
And there the world has advanced devotee
As an emperor of the world, as an advanced devotee,
by a little inattentiveness, he became a deer.
but little. What was that, Guru Maharaj?
And the next birth, he took birth as Brahman.
So in the next birth, he took birth as a Brahman.
He was called Jara.
He was called as Jada Bharat.
So
Remove the hearing aid. It's not working. It's not working.
that was considered so unusual, so great,
That was considered so
that
unusual.
they named the planet after him.
So he was considered so unusual, so great that they named the planet after him.
And now we still name India as Bharat.
Still, till now, we still name India as Bharat.
Some people imitate detachment
So some people
and
imitate
the short white monkeys of the Bhagavatis are called Beka.
So some people imitate detachment. The small lungi that the Babajis wear, it's called beka, white, white lungi.
So if one is actually detached, that makes sense. Take bigger.
So when one is actually detached, it makes sense to take beka.
And one does all the things logic, and eventually they become natural.
So when one does all the things of a Babaji, then eventually these things becomes
Prabhupada was saying
natural.
that if your wife is cultivating their Krishna consciousness, then there's no need to uh, say what else.
So Prabhupada was saying if your wife is cooperating in your Krishna consciousness, then there is no need to take the renounced order.
So that short thought carry a kanta, a catchcoat, and a karanga in order for
So they reduce their necessity.
pain and so by pain and accepting prasad from the temples.
So those they would reduce their necessities and adopt short clothes, kanta, patch
In
quilt,
some cases,
and karanga.
this behavior gradually becomes natural.
Remove the hearing aid. Gurmas can't hear. Please.
Some people have it's no right.
Gurmas, the hearing aid is not working. It's okay.
My hearing aid, I don't have one.
Yeah.
No wonder it doesn't work.
No, it's not. Yeah. I didn't finish reading. No, I didn't finish repeating what Gurma said. Reduce their necessities and adopt short cloth, kanta, patch quilt, and a karanga, a pitcher carried by a saintly person, and sustain themselves by begging and accepting Sri Mahaprasad. This behavior gradually becomes natural. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.18.15, 16, 20, 22, 28, 30, 31, 33, 35, 40. If the sannyasi desire to wear something beside mere cowpin, he may use another cloth around his waist and hips to cover the cowpin. Otherwise, if there is no emergency, he should not accept anything besides his danda or water pot. A saintly person should step or place his foot on the ground only after verifying his eyes that there are no living creatures, such as insects, who might be injured by his foot. Sorry. He should drink water only after filtering it through a portion of his cloth and should speak only words that possess the purity of truth. Similarly, he should perform only those activities his mind has carefully ascertained to be pure, without any material attachment, with senses fully controlled, remaining enthusiastic and satisfied in realization of the Supreme Lord and his own self. The saintly person should travel about the earth alone, having equal vision everywhere. He should be steady on the spiritual platform. By steady knowledge, a sage should clearly ascertain the nature of the soul's bondage and liberation. Bondage occurs when the senses are deviated to to sense gratification, and complete control of the senses constitute liberation. A learned transcendentalist dedicated to the cultivation of knowledge and thus detached from external objects, or my devotee who's detached even from the desire for liberation, both neglect those duties based on external rituals and paraphernalia. Thus, their conduct is beyond the range of rules and regulations. A devotee should never engage in the fruitive rituals mentioned in Karma Kanda section of the Vedas, nor should become atheistic, acting or speaking in opposition to Vedic injunctions. Similarly, he should never speak like a mere logician or skeptic or take any side whatsoever in useless arguments. A saintly person should never let others frighten or disturb him, and similarly should never frighten or disturb other people. He should tolerate the insults of other and should never
Yeah, you just put it up at the last minute. Now it's like 5 lines extra. I'm not six, 10 lines extra. No,
So, Gurmaj, you want us to scroll up or scroll down?
huh?
You want us to scroll?
He should tolerate the insults of others.
He should tolerate the insults of other and should never himself belittle anyone. He should never create hostility with anyone for the sake of material body, for he would thus be no better than an animal. If at times one does not obtain proper food, one should not be depressed, and when one obtains sumptuous food, one should not rejoice. Being fixed in determination, one should understand both situations to be under the control of God. God. If required, one should endeavor to get sufficient foodstuffs because it's always necessary and proper to maintain one's health. When the senses, mind, and life are fit, one can contemplate spiritual truth, and by understanding the truth, one is liberated. A sage should accept the food, clothing, and bedding, be they of excellent or inferior quality, that come of their own accord. One who has not controlled the six forms of illusion, lust, anger, greed, excitement, false pride, and intoxication, whose intelligence, the leader of the senses, is extremely attached to material things, who is bereft of knowledge and detachment, who adopts the sannyas order of life to make a living, who denies the worshipable demigods, his own self, and the Supreme Lord within himself, thus ruining all religious principles, and who, still infected by material contamination, is deviated and lost both in this life and the next.
So these verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam give the principle of detachment.
So, these verses of the Srimad Bhagavatam are giving the principles of detachment.
Such a uh, when they get opulent clothes or ordinary clothes.
I don't know, Gurmai. Opulent clothes or
Like Sanat Goswami, he traded his, he wrote a good uh, shawl.
So Sanatan Goswami, he traded a good shawl.
He first he had a good shawl,
Uh-huh.
then he traded it. Uh,
First he had a good shawl, then he traded it for a torn quilt. Torn quilt.
so he didn't want to attract any attention meeting Lord Chaitanya.
So because he didn't want to attract any attention for meeting Lord Chaitanya.
He was sitting outside the house of Tapan Mishra.
So he was sitting outside the house of Tapan Mishra.
Lord Chaitanya asked, any devotee there?
And then Lord Chaitanya asked, is any devotee there?
It's Muhammad and Fakir.
And they said there's a Mohammedan fakir.
So they went out and saw not Goswami.
You just now saw Sanatan Goswami.
He had straight from the prison house of the Hussein Shah.
He has come straight from the prison house of Hussein Shah.
Lord Chaitanya embraced him.
Lord Chaitanya embraced him.
Prabhupada was telling this story. He said it was like the yogis meeting with Krishna.
When Prabhupada was telling this story, he said that it was like the gopis meeting with Krishna.
Prabhupada started to cry.
And Srila Prabhupada started to cry.
Uh,
Prabhu, Guruma is saying something. Guruma is saying something. Guru Maharaj, this explanation is very long. The next one. You can start.
he started.
No, I didn't.
Okay, read last paragraph, last paragraph. Okay. Okay, Guru Maharaj, there is a cake and the devotee will receive.
Guru Maharaj? Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai.
Nice laddus.
Nice laddus to all of you today.
Some people take it on sort of just to make a living.
Some people take renounced order just to make their living.
And Prabhupada, he wrote a play. I call it the first act without a second.
So when Srila Prabhupada wrote a play, it's called the first act without a second.
It started, it started out that was and right now who took sannyas from the Morgie mission.
So in that play, a married man took sannyas from a Murgi mission.
And he said, I'm thinking of joining the Morgie mission.
And he said that I'm thinking of joining the Murgi mission.
But you're your husband.
But you are a grihastha.
How can you renounce being a sannyasi?
How can you renounce and be a sannyasi?
So the Morgie mission allows you to go home on the weekend.
So he said in the Murgi mission have to go home in the weekend.
So my friend said, I being a sannyasi, going home on the weekend for sex, I don't feel right about that.
So, being a sannyasi, if I go home in the weekend, what was the last part, Guru Maharaj?
For sense revelation,
For sense gratification.
it doesn't feel right to me.
What?
It does not feel right to me.
It does not feel right to me.
I think you should join the mission in North Calcutta.
I think you should join the mission in North Calcutta.
There's head sadhu is uh, called
That sadhu is called
something sadhu. I forget.
something Swadhu. I remember. I don't exactly remember.
Sadhu, what sadhu is.
You know what sadhu means?
Sadhu
Swadhu means
is taste.
is taste.
So it described this sadhu Maharaj.
So he described his Swadhu Maharaj.
He goes to sweet shops.
He goes to sweet shops.
You know, all kinds of sweets.
He bring home all kinds of sweets.
Mararis and Hardiness like to feed sadhus.
So the Marwadis and the North Indians, they like to feed the Swadhus.
Eat, eat to his full content,
So he ate to his full content, fullest
and then
content,
he would faint,
and then he would faint
sugar overload.
because of sugar overload.
So you don't have to take the gas to be part of that mission.
So you don't have to take sannyas to be a part of that mission.
You just have to eat the free food given by people like sadhus.
So you just have to eat the free food given by people who like Swadhus.
He wrote a play like this.
He wrote a play like this.
Um, we showed it once in North Calcutta.
We showed it once in North Calcutta.
What people could put together who the movie mission was.
So people could put together who the Murgi mission was.
Protest.
And they protested.
Just that Bhakti, Thakur, he's saying some people take his order or something just to make a living.
So that just like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, some people take the renounced order just to make their living.
We don't want to be Bhojanananda Sadhu.
So we don't want to be Bhojanananda Swadhus.
Say what Bhojananda Sadhu means.
Can you explain what Bhojanananda Swadhus means? Bhojanananda means, Bhojan means food, Ananda means pleasure. So one who derives pleasure out of eating. So he's called Bhojanananda. Sadhu means saintly, Swadhu. Swadhu means tasting. So Swadhu, a person who tastes.
Bhojanananda Sadhu.
Bhojanananda Swadhu. Guru Maharaj, I think it's time for dinner right now. Please bless all of them, Guru Maharaj.
Blessings.
Blessings to all of you.
Krishna Materas.
Krishna Matirastu. Shri Shri Radha Madhav Sakhi Vrinda Mayapur Chandra ki jai. What's the name? Dilip Ghosh Prabhu's birthday today. Hare Krishna. Happy Krishna conscious birthday.
Srila Guru Maharaj ki. Dear devotees, for those who are physically present here, there's a physical book table right to the left of you near the gate. So, this is Guru Maharaj's personal physical book table, and this is meant for only those who are here on the Transcendental Lotus rooftop, and nobody else has this facility. So please do visit the table before you leave and see in what way you can serve Guru Maharaj in distributing Srila Prabhupada books. And welcome to Guru Maharaj Virtual Book Table. Srila Prabhupada wrote to Kirtiraj on February 28, 1972. Yeah. I'm very much pleased to hear that our mail order department for books and BTGs is increasing steadily. You now have a good American brain by Krishna's grace. So the more you go on thinking of ways to increase in this way, the more Krishna will understand that you are sincere to serve him as a dearmost friend by preaching his message of Bhagavad Gita, and the more he will attract you to come back home, back to Godhead. So please sponsor Bhagavad Gita, at least one in a month. And Jai Srila Prabhupada. Marathon slogan, leave to give. So today we have from physical book table, Gauranga Nataraja Das 2 Bhagavad Gita, Chandra Mokha Keshav Das 1 Bhagavad Gita, Kamala Kanta Devi Dasi 4 Bhagavad Gita, Jayada Harini 1 Bhagavad Gita, Madhavi Sutradhar 1 Bhagavad Gita, Gopinath 1 Bhagavad Gita. And we have our Nitya Sevites, Balachandra Channa Vinita Gandharvika Balavrinda, 4 small books. From Kasa Desh, we have Damini Mataji and her family, 1 Bhagavad Gita and 10 small book, consistently, daily, 1:10 ratio, exactly as Guru Maharaj wants it, and exactly this is fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's desire as well as instruction to Srila Gurudev. Thank you very much, Damini Mataji, for being an exemplary example continuously to the whole world. Gayatri Devidasi, 1 Bhagavad Gita, Wang Lan Yu, 1 Bhagavad Gita. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Also, these devotees get a special Narsinga Puja in a few hours from now in Sridham, Mayapur. All of you devotees also please call out Nitai Gauranga with me and bless them. Nitai Gauranga. And please pass on this wonderful opportunity to be participating in the pastime of Guru Maharaj distributing Srila Prabhupada books. Even if it's a single Bhagavad Gita and 10 small books, please do WhatsApp any time in 24 hours, both day and night, at +91 94 34 76 0402, and stay tuned for tomorrow's Lord Chaitanya class. Now, let's have an intense prayer for Guru Maharaj's full recovery and speedy recovery. And of course, our prayers include for all those who are celebrating their anniversaries today for their well-being and blissful Krishna consciousness. Please join me in the prayers. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Vaishnav Pranam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patithanam pavane